Hey YouTube world, what is happening? Just the other day I was walking through this superstore when I saw that they had these security cameras on sale. And since my wife and I have been looking for a security camera solution for our home, I figured maybe I should try this one out. I mean, hey, if I don't like it, I could always take it back, right? So, like I always do, I'm going to share what I think about this little security camera, if I'm going to get more or if I'm going to take it back, and unbox it as well. And if you appreciate me sharing all that with you, I would appreciate if you go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe. So our security camera needs are really quite simple. We mainly want something that will monitor our front porch. We'd like to be able to see what time packages are delivered and who's collecting those packages, if it's not someone from our household. We also wanted to be able to see who's ringing our doorbell. Okay, let's quickly take a look now what's inside this box. Of course, the box is taped up, so I'm going to have to cut the tape with a knife in an attempt to have the box stay in its best condition possible should I have to return this. But of course, there's still some prying necessary, but I have the right tools for the job. So just a little side note, this little tool here is awesome. I acquired this tool when I used to work on cars. I was an installation tech, and a lot of times trying to pop off the interior panels was quite difficult. This little tool came in so handy. Anyways, back to the camera. It seems this transparent packaging nicely suspends the camera for its transportation. That's definitely good to see. Here we have an instruction booklet, or two of them. And here's a cable of some sort. This looks like some mounting hardware and a power adapter, which looks to take a USB cable. And here we have the camera. It's not too big, probably about 4 inches in height or so. Looking at it from the front, you can see the main lens here and the proximity sensor or motion detection sensor. Here's the power port, DC 5 volts, an LED, and a memory card slot, and a reset button. So clearly this camera is for indoor use only. I don't see anything on this camera that would protect it from the outside elements. Here at the bottom of the camera we have 4 felt pads to prevent the camera from moving to or sliding around too easily. And here's an indentation to slot in a screw head for mounting. I am actually hoping to mount this camera like this, somewhere around the window frame, because I don't want my children to interfere with it. But we'll see how that goes. Anyways, let's go up to the area where I would like to mount this camera. I was hoping to mount this camera upside down on the upper part of the window frame. And if that didn't work out, the bottom part should be a good option as well. I thought mounting the camera here would have been optimal because, for one, it's out of the way for anyone to interfere with, i.e. my kids, and it wouldn't be too obvious for anyone looking in from outside. I also imagine that the field of view would have been perfect. So I also tried to see if I can mount this camera on the side, but that didn't turn out to be a good option because the camera is too short and the frame of the window obstructs its field of view. And it was at this point I realized I have a much bigger issue. The issue of the length of the power cord. The cord is way too short to allow me to get creative with this installation. And I was pretty much restricted to one area, the bottom of the window pane. And the border of the window actually gets in the way. So for the sake of this video, I'm just gonna leave this camera temporarily propped up on this block here. So this camera works in conjunction with its own app that you can download from the App Store or the Google Play Store. Depending on what kind of device you have, you're going to choose accordingly. I have an Android-based phone, so I'll be using the Google Play Store to download my app. So the app is called Geenie, and it looks like this. I've already downloaded the app, so I'm just going to press open and open it up. Once you connect your phone to the device, you can go ahead and give it a custom name or even add more cameras if you have any. So this is the home page. As you can see at the bottom on the left hand side, it says My Home and it's highlighted in blue. You might also notice that there's a blue circle in the top right corner of the notification icon. That means, well, I got notifications. Okay, let's view some camera footage. To do that, I'm going to click on the camera icon named Our Home Cam, and you are going to click on the camera icon named whatever you decide to name your camera. This will bring us to a new page, and you will see the app trying to connect to the camera. You will also see some additional information on this next page, like the signal strength and the video quality, and a little button over here for you to mute the sound if you like. Yeah, that's right, I said sound. This unit can transmit sound to and from, although I haven't really had much luck sending sound from my device, only receiving. Okay, so right now I want to talk about the biggest beef I have with this camera. This is clearly an indoor camera. As you can see, I have the camera placed towards the window, and at night, all I get is glare. Everything the camera captures at night is illegible. There's no detail because all you can see is glare, and it's pretty much rendered useless to a point when the night falls. Oh look, we just got a notification. Alright, let's talk about that for a little bit. This camera is equipped with a motion sensor. Whenever the camera picks up movement like someone walking by or a car driving by, it will automatically take a snapshot and send it to the app. Then, the app on your phone will send a push notification to let you know you've received a new notification like you just saw. You can then go into the notifications and access all the snapshots that the camera has taken. The camera is capable of moving, and you can control the lens movement with the app. I probably should have mentioned that earlier, so let's go back to the previous page for a second. I clicked on this icon here that says direction, which brings you to the next page. And if you tap any part of the circle, top, bottom, left, or right, the camera lens will move accordingly. Now it moves a preset distance for each tap. So you're gonna have to play with it a little to figure out how much it's gonna move by with each tap and what angle you wanna capture. And when it does move, it'll trigger a motion detection alert, which you will see on your device, like this. Okay, let's look at what this video camera's footage looks like in the daytime. The quality is, I'm okay with it. I don't love it. You're not gonna get any fine details picked up, but you'll be able to recognize the people you know. This camera has no zoom function, keep that in mind. But when looking at the live images on your phone, you can rotate your device and get a bigger view. Alright, so I'm going to move the camera again. This time in the daylight, I realized that the last time I did it, you couldn't really see anything legible. So here's a better example. Now again, I'm just slightly tapping the left and right directional arrows on the screen here, which activates the smallest pre-programmed increment of movement left and right. What I find to be kind of weird though, is that the up and down movements are much smaller increments. You see what I'm talking about? I don't know why they did this, but that's how this thing functions. Okay, let's talk about the audio part. So you're supposed to be able to engage in two-way communication with this camera. I don't know if there's a problem with my unit per se, but I've tried this time and time again and it just doesn't work for me. I believe I'm doing everything right. It says press and hold to speak, but it just never seems to work. Now mind you, I don't have a memory card loaded into this camera just yet. Maybe I'll put a memory card in after and try out again. So a little side note here, apparently my phone would not let me capture both video and audio from this app for some reason I don't know. Anyways, I went and asked my lovely daughter to help me show you guys the audio capabilities of this camera. And as you can hear, hearing somebody from the camera to your phone works pretty well.
Hello, can you hear me?
And as you can see, every time I hit the speak button, it just wouldn't work or the app would crash. I mean, just look how I struggled with this and never got it to function properly.
2, 3, 4. Testing 1, 2, 3, 4. Testing 1, 2, 3, 4. Testing 1, 2, 3, 4. Testing.
Hello, can you hear me?
One thing I have noticed is that when you press the press and hold to speak soft button, a little green icon appears in the top right hand corner of my phone screen. But I think it's just my phone's way of letting me know that it is utilizing the microphone and speakers for the app.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? The voice doesn't even work anymore. I'll try muting it and then unmuting it. Nothing. So we'll go out and go back in.
Okay, well, as far as the audio is concerned in this camera, I have tried again and again to get the voice going from my phone to the camera, but it's failed each and every time. I just can't get it to work. However, hearing audio from the camera to my phone works flawlessly. And now I got to share with you a little discovery I made. See, one night I went into the camera and I saw that the infrared hadn't turned on yet, and I was able to see a quite clear picture of outside. I don't know if my house lights had anything to do with this, so it made me think. This little discovery had me wanting to search the menus to see if there was an option to turn off the infrared. And guess what? I found it. Check this out. So when you're looking at the screen, look for the 3 dots in the upper right corner. Hit that and scroll down until you see IR night vision. Click that and it brings you to the options where you can turn it on, off, or have it set to auto. And as you just saw, the result is a much more clean picture at night outside, provided I have my outside lights on, right? But let's go back to settings now. There's just one more thing I want to show you before I end this video. I found an SD card and threw it in the camera. This opens up a few more options, but since I was at the settings, I might as well show you what I did here. When you go into the SD card settings, you can confirm that it's reading your card because it shows you the size of the card. You can switch the recording to SD only, you can set a schedule, and you can format your card should you need to. And as you can see here, I set my recording mode to motion only. Next, I hit recording schedule, but I don't have a schedule made, so there's nothing really to show you here. Alright, so now that I have an SD card in, I'm gonna hit record, and I guess we'll all find out what happens now. I see there's a little clock that starts counting in the middle of the screen. I'm gonna hit record again to stop the recording. When I hit playback, it takes me to this screen. Take note that when I hit the screenshot icon, I get a notification that says the screenshot has been saved. And when I stopped recording, I got a notification that said the video had been saved. But I can't find these files. So going back to the playback screen, this time you can see it has saved some motion detection files. And if you hit the More button on the right hand side, you should get a list of all the files it saved. As for the video that I recorded and the screenshots that I took, I still can't find those files. So I'm gonna guess that they're stored on the memory card, and I guess I'll have to pull them off when I load it into a computer or something. Okay, so final update on the voice transmission. Putting the SD card in the camera did not solve the problem of sending voice communication from my device to the camera. It works the other way around. I thought the SD card would solve that, but it didn't. It still doesn't work and still sometimes crashes the app. Overall though, I think this would be a good camera for monitoring inside your house. I think I'm gonna move this camera to my garage. And when it comes for monitoring outside, I'm gonna start shopping again for something better. I think I want something with a better picture quality, to be honest. Well, that about does it for this video. I hope you enjoyed the unboxing and the review. Please like and subscribe because we use these numbers as motivation to create more videos. Thanks, and see you next time.